I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you everybody for coming tonight on a beautiful day. First I want to just welcome the new board members. This is your first meeting, Aaron and Denise, and the whole new board. I want to welcome everybody, and we got 4 good years to work together, and we'll see what we can get done in the next 4 years. We'll start with a roll call.
Okay, Supervisor Ron Alberico.
I'm here.
Trustee Dean Morelli. Trustee Greg Vickas.
Here.
Trustee Karen Johnson.
Here.
Trustee Denise Selvino.
Here.
Assessor Mary Ann Williamson. Here. Highway Commissioner Jim Lush. Collector Sherry Williams.
All right. Any citizens wishing to address the board here tonight? Don't see anybody. I do want to just make a point. I asked Michelle here to be here tonight with us when we talk about this bus lease, which is the next thing on the agenda. I wanted to have a little workshop, pretty much just to get some of the new board members acquainted as to what we're thinking, what we're doing here. One of the major things we got to get done relatively soon is a bus lease. We have 2 buses, as we all are aware of, and the leases that it was a 4-year lease, or it was a 3-year lease, right? It was a 3-year lease that we had, and it ended probably about 5 months ago.
It would have been December it ended.
Last December.
Yeah.
And we extended it just to get through the election because, we thought the new supervisor, whoever it may be, myself or somebody else, would have to make that decision. So now the election's over, we've got to kind of make a decision pretty quick because we're paying $1,000 a bus for the lease right now,
Right.
and we're just kind of wasting money on it. So I want to get a new lease program going. Michelle, you want to come up, sit at the table with us? You're more than welcome. 'Cause I'm going to have her answer all the questions and things that may come up. But what I'd like to do, it's going to take, I believe, Michelle has indicated to me, about 6 months to get whatever we buy or lease set.
Yes.
Is that what I'm understanding? So we got now until December. We have our buses until December too, right? We could keep on leasing them until
Right.
December,
They said November, but
November?
I'm sure they'll make it till December.
Okay.
It's gonna take about 6 months to order a bus either way. 6 to 7, so hopefully it's not
So we're kind of under the gun to get this done here. That's why I wanted to have a workshop before the meeting, so we can answer all the questions, get everything worked out, so we could pass it at next week. The bus we're talking about, that Michelle's kind of looked at, we have, on that first page, we could rent it or release it for 36, 48, 60, or 72. And those are the prices. I would like to go 36 months and get it paid for.
So these are basically purchase prices, then, right?
This would be after the lease, after 3 years, you pay $1 and we own it,
Okay,
kind of deal, yeah,
okay.
this time.
So
We should have done that last time.
what are we paying per month for lease right now?
Do you know offhand? I know it's,
right around 23, 24
For bus?
for both buses.
Okay, so about 1,200.
Right.
we do have the money in the budget to buy the 36 month lease.
Okay.
And then own them in 3 years and be done with it. And then we could keep the buses as long as we feel they're
Serviceable.
serviceable. Yeah.
What's the condition of our buses right now? Would we consider them to be serviceable?
Yeah, they're in good condition.
Is there any option to purchase those at all? Did they give you,
I'm sure they could sell them back to us, but
It's not part of
No
the
idea.
current lease.
idea what they would you know, I'd have to
Because
ask
usually at
them
the end of
about
the lease, well, the way a lease works is there's a purchase price and there's a residual value. So they had to set some type of residual value, and you can negotiate from there based on what current.
that. We did it as a walkaway lease, so when we're done, we just give them back.
Right, but there is they're
Right.
usually on a lease, there is an option to buy the vehicle at the end of the lease. Just wonder if we could check into that too,
Yeah.
because if we,
Yep.
I mean,
That was an option and we didn't choose it.
I know we
it.
chose to just do the lease, but it's, you know,
Do you want me to see how much they'll sell them back to us for?
Yeah, it would be a separate transaction. We didn't
Yeah.
create that kind of.
Right,
lease.
and I know
The
it's not-
prior
it's not in
buses
the
were
lease,
in
but
bad
I-
shape. Yeah, so we.
by working in the, you know, different
But-
businesses. And I've been in the car business before when I was younger, but you could always have the option to buy the car at the end of the lease. They're gonna have a vehicle that they've either gotta sell or do something with.
Right.
And we know the condition of the vehicles that we have. So that may be an option too, which would make, I understand this would be for a new one, but just consider that.
Sure.
Well, I guess my thought would be, it's just, you know, it's up to the board, but I would like to start fresh with new buses, because I know the bus drivers thought these buses were kind of cheap anyway. They weren't
Right.
all
Oh, yeah?
happy with them. I mean, they're nice, they're in good condition and all that, but they're kind of flimsy from the last buses that we had before that.
Okay.
From their opinion, I don't know, I don't drive them much.
So what would be the difference then from the current buses we have to the new ones we purchased?
This is, like this here, this is like a DOT bus, you know, what Pace has. The buses we have now, there's like certain things that are just missing from it. The bus it's a cheaper made bus, but that's not what we had to buy for, what's that called, so you didn't put out to bid.
Oh, yeah, we didn't go to bid, we did it with that government agency
Oh, that was the
that.
government,
Yes.
okay, okay.
Yeah,
So that was, so when that was brought forward, that was based on whatever the government program is to,
right.
so these are under a different, from a different, facility or different manufacturer? Okay,
From Kankakee, Midwest Transit.
okay. Yeah, I've been by there before.
These are a little bit bigger buses, I think you said?
Yes, there's 2 more seats. We have 10 passenger now, 1 wheelchair. These will be 12 passenger, 2 wheelchairs.
Okay. All right.
Is there a preference as to which way you think we should go? Like I said, I'd like to get this started at the next meeting next week, so
Well,
we could,
I'm glad you mentioned that these are different buses than we had, because I didn't know what the advantage was to go
Yeah.
with a new bus over what we did have. Because I'm not familiar with the inside of the buses that much either. Will our drivers be able to drive this with their current licenses?
Yes.
Okay. Our insurance isn't gonna go up significantly
I don't
by
think our insurance
changing
would go up.
buses?
Shouldn't be.
Okay.
Like I said, we do have enough in the budget to do the $17.40 a month for each
Okay.
bus. Or we could go, if you want to extend it, you know, then go up.
So that'd be,
Longer
that'd be
months.
3,400 for the 2 buses.
Yeah, for 48 months or.
And then
60
that would
months.
be within our term, so it would be something we'd approve that's
We
completely
could.
within our term too.
Sure. And then at the end of
And
the
then-
term, we buy it for $1.
Went for $1, then we would have them.
Next
and
term,
then
whoever-
The next,
Doesn't have to make a
Officials.
decision if they don't
they
want
can
to.
make a
right away.
decision, right?
And we keep up on the maintenance of the buses pretty
Right.
good.
We will.
Right, I do notice that we've got them in for service pretty regularly.
Yeah.
So, I guess at this point, I think first of all, is everybody pretty much in agreement we should lease a bus? Get this approved next month, or next week at the meeting. Let's start with that. So,
I'm good with it.
Yeah,
I'm-
I'll put it
I
on the
would say
agenda.
that the 36-month term, I mean, it saves us a little bit in interest, I guess. And, You know, if it's a better bus, something we could keep hanging on to, yeah.
We might be able to keep it for 6, 7 years, you know.
Right, yeah.
If it's paid for. Everybody okay with that then? Should, everybody okay with the 36 month instead of the 48 or 60?
What are these numbers on the buses? Is that
Is this mileage?
mileage or passengers or
Which one are you looking at?
this spreadsheet here?
Yeah, those are mileages. This is, like bus 1, bus 2, what their miles run in a year's time. That's how
Okay.
many miles we're putting on.
So the buses right now have about 60,000 miles or so.
I think just over 50, yeah.
Is there a mileage limit on the new lease?
No, no,
Since we're gonna be
because we're gonna
purchasing-
own them.
Right.
Okay.
There was a
Annual
mileage on the
limit
old
to
lease.
the
Right.
mileage.
There was one on the lease we have now, there's a limit on it, but we're not hitting it, so we're good.
Okay.
We were kind of concerned with that back in the day when we used to keep our buses at
Rentals.
Rendell's. Because we, you know, before we had the building, we
Mhm.
didn't have anything there, so we parked it at Rendell's, which was a 10, 15 mile drive each way every day, added on to it. All right, everybody's okay with that, and I'm gonna put that on the agenda for next Tuesday, to go ahead and approve that lease for the 36 months. We'll get that ordered at, and hopefully we'll get that sooner than 6 months.
Yeah.
What was the amount on the lease, you know, before it expired per bus for the last one?
I think you just said around $1,200 a
Right.
month.
That's what
This
it
one
is
that we're
now?
doing. Yeah, and I tried to ask them if they would lower it for us, and they said no,
Okay, so we're paying the same amount?
same
And not a
amount,
different amount since we
Right.
are, okay.
just for the same, just for an extra year. They don't want it. I tried to get it lower, but they wouldn't.
All right. Another thing I wanted to bring up for this month, for Tuesday, is the lease for the pantry again. I did have Gary go through it, and he changed the verbiage in it, and I think it's all pretty well. I just wanted to give it to you a week ahead in case you see something in there that you might want changed. Like I said, he did go through it, and
I just have a question on the term of the lease from August through May. So like, again, you're gonna fall into that if it ends in May 2025 and that's election time?
yeah.
Or why, you know, there's a gap there where there's a couple months there would it go August to July for a
I
complete
could,
year
I
end?
could ask him to put it a little farther down the road, give the next supervisor more time. Is that what you're basically saying?
Well, can we enter, oh, go ahead.
No, that's exactly what I was.
Yeah.
Can we enter into agreements that extend beyond our term of office?
You can technically up to, I think, 6 months, they said.
Okay.
Because, you know, a new board comes in, they can't get it figured out within, you know, a week. You know, the
Right.
new board just started with the 17th, and the
Yeah.
meeting's not even a month away. They can't get everything approved and squared up, especially if it's a new supervisor, a new change. You know, like in Homer Township has a whole brand new
Right.
board, they wouldn't know what the heck's in.
Well, they did a lot of things.
And Joliet though also has a whole new board.
Yeah.
That's, you know, and you shouldn't do that to the new board either, but you can't extend, you know, a 10-year contract.
Right. What would you consider then, what were you thinking, give them 2 months or
Well, you know, if we give them,
do it July 31st?
we can
maybe?
go July 31st. I'll have Gary just change it to July. I'd go August if you want to, just give them more time. Especially a lease like this because I don't feel, you know, I don't wanna, I can't tell the future, but I really don't feel there's gonna be any issues 4 years from now with the food pantry moving in and out, and, you know, it's a nice fit, everybody's pretty happy with them, you know, other than once in a while some meat getting rotten in there and stinking up the place, but that happens.
A little leftover broccoli in the garbage cans.
Yeah, things happen. But in the big picture, though, I think it's a wonderful fit with our building, and, you know, it helps a lot of our residents. And
Right.
so I wouldn't mind going, you know, August,
I'm fine with that.
right? Okay, I'll have Gary change that to August.
Yeah, or July 31st would make it, you know, even year, starting in August 1st, running on July 31st.
Well, July, I don't care, whatever you want. Let's do July. Other than that, I think everything else would be good with that contract. The only, if he's going to change it, I guess the only other thing I would change, I noticed that today in paragraph, where is it now? Paragraph 3, or number 3, additionally, leasee will pay for the following: the rental fee for 3 dumpsters, 2 dumpsters for regular garbage and 1 for recycling, for pickup at least once a week. And that was in the original lease, and they did do that until we did our garbage referendum. And now the garbage referendum, part of the agreement we have, they give us free dumpsters, so they don't pay for it anymore. So I can have that taken out, or leave it and just don't charge them. Should something happen with that contract, then they would again assume the paying for the garbage.
Yeah, I think take it out since it doesn't apply.
Really doesn't
Yeah.
apply.
Yeah.
I guess I could change that, take that out. I just noticed that today too, when I was reading through it. Or like I said, we could leave it in there and just,
How long is the contract with,
the garbage?
Yeah.
The garbage contract was a 7-year contract.
Michelle, were you the one that calculates their electric, that calculated their electric usage?
No,
How did that get calculated? Did they pay electric?
No, they don't. I think it's set into contract, they're gonna pay $100 a year. But our, you know, our
So
electric,
should we take that clause out of there since they're not, that number 1?
number one, we could take that one
I
out
mean,
too.
if it's not being enforced.
That was something we were going to go over with them every 6 months to see if we felt like we
Needed a charge.
needed to charge them. But I never felt, you know, our bills have been
Reasonable.
reasonable in this building, and I hate to, you know, we give them $1,600 a month, I hate to start charging
So,
back.
well, I'm just wondering, then, should we,
You wanna take that one out too,
Well,
we
I'm just
can,
wondering
or
if-
just leave it and just not, you know, enforce it.
Have they been giving us the $100 for
No.
electric?
No.
I think it's one of those things, it's in the contract, a year went by and nobody remembered or thought of it.
well, and if you're giving them money, why charge back?
Why charge back? That's my.
well, I understand it, but it's just in the contract. Should we just not have it in the contract? Then if we're,
That's what I'm thinking. Have the contract reflect what we're doing.
Well, my thought would be, we could do either, like I said, I'm torn, it doesn't really matter to me, but my thought is, should we get to a point where these bills go way high, hey, you know what, it's in the contract, we're gonna have to start charging you. If we have to, but I don't think we'll have to. Or we just take it out and then we can't charge them.
I'm gonna talk to Gary, either way it's fine with me. I just don't want to ask what his opinion would be on that.
I could ask him. I hate to ask Gary, he charges $500. You know, for a $100 bill once
I know.
a year, it's gonna cost me $500 to ask him.
Yeah, that's true. But, I don't know.
Well, it
Yeah.
doesn't
I think we're all
hurt-
adults
It
here.
doesn't hurt to leave it in.
It's not gonna
Yeah.
hurt, let's just leave
Because
it.
you're
Okay.
just not collecting anything.
Fine, let's just leave it.
Yeah. I hesitate to ask Gary every question. We're all educated people, we should be able to make some decisions ourselves. All right, I'll leave that as is then, and I'll just put that on the agenda also. All right, couple of things. I wanna go over something real quick with you. One of the things I kind of ran on this last time in my propaganda and everything was to try to get the word out of what we do. We send newsletters out there, we got a website, we got, we try to reach out to everybody to let everybody know what our programming is, and I don't care how hard we try, half the people don't even know we exist. I did have, in this past election, a young man help me, put me on the web and got me into Facebook and all that, and he did a wonderful job as a young kid, and I was thinking I would like to maybe bring him on to help us get the word out. He'd be his own contractor, he won't be an employee, we'll just pay him hourly, what we need him, when we need him, if you guys are okay with that.
Well, does anybody else want, have any
You wanna
opinion
make a
here?
comment?
Yeah,
Would you not open this up to other young people who might be
Well, I don't know, a lot of
interested
young,
in something
when I
like
reach out,
this? I mean, we've got Lewis University across the bridge that could have marketing communications interns. I mean, even the high school probably has some top-notch.
well, I was
kids
just
that
bringing
would-
this guy on because I've met him, and I've seen his work, and I felt real comfortable with what he did. He was,
I don't have any problems with his qualifications, I think Frank
yeah.
let him do a great job. So, the only thing that I think it may be a little bit of conflict of interest for you, he's collecting email addresses, he is sending things out through the township, and he is your campaign manager for social media, your public relations consultant for your campaign.
Yeah, but that's over with.
Well, I'm sure that whatever, I'm just saying that there's close connections with will all the emails be shared with the public? All the email addresses be shared with the public?
What I'd like to set up is, basically what I'd like him to do is do email blasts for us. We'd like to, at our senior breakfast, collect all the emails from our seniors, get as many emails as we can from our residents, and then when there's something going on in this building, like bingo, or like we canceled Wednesday's, tomorrow's.
Community, senior,
Yeah,
expo,
see,
yeah.
we could email everybody and just send them a blast and just keep up with.
I understand, but you're data collecting,
Yeah.
and the data collecting is be done by your technical person that manages all your data for your campaign. I'm sure that,
Yeah, there
I'm sure that whoever's running for supervisor next is gonna want all that information. You're already gonna have it in his database. And he's
Well,
gonna
I
have all
think
that.
That would
there's
be
two
kept
separate things then.
separate.
Well,
Two
but
separate
if
things.
he's contracting or consulting for the township, whatever he's maintaining for the township falls under freedom of information. So it would be available to anybody who wanted to FOIA it.
That's true.
I just feel that it's a little bit of a conflict of interest. I wouldn't support that. I would support us putting it out too. But if we want to put it out even on social media, if you want to hire him to put it out on social media, if there's this position available,
Well, I would hate to see this young kid,
I have nothing against him
not
at
be
all.
eligible for the position.
I think where it
He shouldn't be eligible for it, but we shouldn't say, hey, the guy who ran my campaign, social media, is gonna be doing this job, and we get either yes or no.
Well, I don't, like I said,
I
I don't know too much about
nothing
technology.
against anybody.
Yeah.
If it were me asking to do this, I would feel uncomfortable asking the person who did social media for me to come in and collect data from people who were participating in township events.
All right. That's the way you feel.
That's the way I feel. Even if it were me, if I presented this, I would feel uncomfortable, and I would feel it was a conflict of interest.
I guess I look at things a little differently, being
Well, I think
not
in
real
Mon's
edu-
defense, I think where it came from was simply that he's
Right,
associated with Allegro, which uses the building
building,
for their
yeah.
programs.
He's a nice young kid that
And-
worked really hard.
You just got to know him, so
Yeah.
that's,
I
you know,
understand, I know, I mean, there are other people that,
There is no ulterior motives, if that's what you're thinking, that,
But even here, it says the objective is to, create content calendar. I saw obtain email addresses from attendees of events.
Yeah, there's just always
We're data
been
collecting.
clearer boundaries between campaign work and township government. Yeah.
Well, I think the two of those are one and the same.
No, they're not.
Okay.
We collect data on behalf
Well, I
of
would
the
be, I would
township.
be against that position being created for just one person to be.
All right, well, then I still think we need to get the word out.
I think we need to do texting program.
Yeah, I was gonna say, not just emailing, but texting, when it's collecting.
I think that's a good idea.
Contact,
Refreshing.
both.
Texting, email, Facebook, does the township have their own Facebook page?
We
Well, I
do
think,
that.
but I think that's where Ron's coming from though, is we all say we need it, but who's gonna do it?
Yeah, nobody does it.
Have everybody.
We've never asked
That's why I-
somebody to do it.
Well,
Yeah.
I've,
Right,
you know, I've
we
tried to
haven't.
get different things that are senior breakfast, let's collect names, let's collect emails, let's collect this stuff, and then we just don't get it.
Why is that?
It just doesn't happen. I want
Well,
some,
they're your employees.
For me,
They're
you
your
don't have
employees.
to sign in, you don't pass, I mean, I've been to
I
many
can't force
luncheons
the people to
and
give
stuff,
them
they
to us
Do
either.
you only ask for emails or would you ask for phones too for texting? It's kind of a newer.
Again, I'm the least person you want to ask about technologies.
Well, because some people are more likely to open a text than they are an email. You know, a lot of people don't always check emails as much as I get the text. Well, a lot of you in the group will know, text me if you want to get hold of me. I don't always see an email, especially if I go down to the pit and I'm working.
I guess my
Okay.
thought is, I think we need to do something and get something going, because that's one of the biggest complaints I have from a lot of people is, I didn't even know you exist. How do we know? How do we get the information out? So I'm trying to look at the new technologies, and I reached out to the person that I saw do a really good job.
And I'm new, so I don't know even what kind of employees that are already employed by township government or what everybody does, if there's something that someone can help out with,
Yeah.
something in that
None of them are
aspect, or-
educated in this field, none of my employees. So you have a,
But is there a township employee like at the senior breakfast, and again, I'm not really familiar with these events, because I've been to events where I've just sat at a table, they just pass a piece of paper around. I mean, it's a simple thing, fill this out, will you share this?
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
we asked them,
Somebody has to be
works
responsible.
the smart breakfast, we've asked them all. Please come in, give us we have a pad there, give us your email address. 2 people sign it, 2 people leave it, so we don't get them.
Well, especially with senior breakfast, they've got to call in
Right.
so when you call in and say, hey, can we use your phone number?
You could do that, I guess, now, text them.
Do you do texting?
They-
Would you like to opt in?
They call in to sign up for the senior breakfast, right?
Anyway, I won't put this on the agenda then, if you guys are kind of against doing
Well,
that.
I'm
This is
not- I'm
nothing.
not-
Well, would you be
Consensus.
comfortable if you posted the job on the website for 2 weeks?
I don't wanna,
and then see
I
if
don't wanna
somebody
create
uses
a
it?
job though. I
The
wanna
subcontractor.
But also, that also brings in,
subcontract.
Right.
I think you
I don't
have
know.
to pay him as an employee. Because you have to look into that.
Well,
but-
he would have to have a 1099, and he would have to have a
Yeah.
tax ID number.
We have other
Be paid as a
contractors that we
subcontract.
hire also, like Velocity, he'd be like a.
Right, they
subcontract.
can give you a 1099
Yeah.
or a W-9, so you can track know their payments.
Yeah, that's the way I kind of was trying to set this up, as not another employee. So I don't want to start paying IMRF and,
Right.
insurance and things like that to this person.
Do you have an estimate of how many hours a month you would spend on this
I
initially?
really don't have,
No.
really. It's new, it'd be a new thing, we try and see, it'd be a, see if it's working. If it's working, we start doing it more. If it doesn't, we throw it to the wayside, I guess.
I
Just
don't
a-
have a
just an
problem
idea.
doing it, I mean, why not, I'd really like to see it put out for,
I could put it online and ask this guy to put his,
and I don't mind you hiring this, no, I didn't.
Right.
I wouldn't mind you have a problem hiring Elijah to set up the Facebook page originally, but I think that this job should be put out to be available to,
But I feel like then I'm asking him to set up a job for somebody else. He kind of wants to
Good.
do it, so it'd be kind of like asking somebody, you know, to,
do we have the Facebook page? I can put this on the Facebook page, I don't think I've.
we have a Facebook page.
I can put this on our Facebook page and say we're
Yeah,
currently
well,
looking
Chris
for.
could probably do that, put it more to a bid kind of a thing, well,
Just say we're looking for, and do we have any idea what wages we would be paying?
well, I was gonna, he has suggested he'd come in at $15 an hour. My secretaries think he should get more because he'd have to pay his taxes out of that. Since you wouldn't be paying, you know.
Is there a Jackson Pratt wage number that we have to pay for something like this? According to,
I'm not aware of that.
I mean, I don't know what prevailing wage is for.
Prevailing wage, I don't know
I
if
think that's
that
if
fits
it's-
into the category.
That's
of
if somebody's
prevailing wage.
doing work on a government building, you
Yeah.
know, some kind of work on a building or contract.
Contractor, we're building roads if we're doing that. I know
I'm
landscaping
pretty sure
doesn't fall.
it falls under all hires. It's not just
But
physical.
if he's like an outside contractor, then it's whatever fee he's charging, isn't it? Like Velasta or anything else
Our
that
lawyer.
we use as an outside, or the lawyer, he's an outside contractor.
But we have to pay, at prevailing wage, there is prevailing wage for all those. There,
I don't know. I know landscaping doesn't fall under prevailing wage. I've been told that by contractors, you know, the unions.
okay.
But anyway,
Okay.
yeah, I don't want to get into it too much. We'll try to reach out, put this more onto the website in our Facebook and see if we get some more people, and we'll just come back to it to revisit it. The other thing I wanted to talk tonight about was a couple other things. Well, I'm not gonna do anything tonight, but I know we've kicked around the idea of putting a new garage in. I just wanna let you know that I might start looking at that again if people are comfortable with it. If not, I won't. But I think we still need a garage. Our truck is sitting outside, our van is sitting outside. We don't have room hardly in that garage for salt in the winter. But, so I'm gonna be looking into that and we'll see how that goes. Furniture, I have on my list here. Erin's office, she would like to get a new desk in the office there for herself. And some other things, I'm not sure, just the desk
Desk
here,
and, we're looking at desk and 4 chairs,
4 chairs,
kind
yeah.
of reducing what's already,
What I'd
Going
like
plus.
to do at this point in time though, since we've never really put money into this building as far as furniture in the foyers and upstairs, that blue chairs that we have up there are 20 years old, they stink and they're, you know,
More than that.
more than that.
Their furniture is 40 years old.
Is it?
Yeah.
You know, my conference table, all those chairs are so faded, so I'd like to get a new conference table, chairs for my office. The front, the downstairs, you wanted to get some front stuff.
Some chairs for.
Yeah, let's get it done
reception area.
finally, so I wanted to bring that up. I have a guy coming in from a furniture company giving us some ideas. Once I get those numbers together and get an idea what we're talking about, I'll bring it to the board and see what you guys think. You guys okay with that? I mean, still have whole
Yeah.
enough furniture
Um,
that we didn't do when we built the building, or bought the building, because we were trying to save money
okay.
at the time. Canal Days is coming up, and I know we bought some shirts for Aaron and whoever's marching in the parade, but when we had that discussion, actually, Greg, you brought up the fact about getting polo shirts. I did put a list out, everybody's got it. If you guys want to get polo shirts, if you are okay with that, I'll order some. I need to know your size and
we need one small, right, is what
I don't know.
Jessica and I were talking.
We're gonna do that.
Everyone's wrong, yeah.
I'd like to get all the officials polo
Okay.
shirt, and most of the employees, like our bus drivers, your employees, if they want a polo shirt, let's get them.
Hate polo shirts.
Well,
Sorry.
yeah.
The
I
kids-
So are
can
we
they
getting
get cotton?
updated t-shirts for the parade or just this then?
Just this, I mean, I figured the shirts for the parade's got our name big on the back. You're not gonna wear that, I don't wear that thing.
You mean the Lockport
Do you need
Township
to
working for you?
Say
It's on
trustee on
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, because mine's.
This says Lockport Township on the front, and on the back it says Greg Bickus, trustee.
Oh, I don't have one of those.
Oh, don't you?
No, I have the one from way back, the white one that says Lockport Township working for you,
I thought you had one. I would have ordered you one. I didn't
No.
get it.
that we wore backwards in my last canal days. So-
Karen needs one too. Hers says collector.
Ah. Yeah, thank you.
And Sherry, did you get one for Sherry that said collector when she was appointed?
I don't
And
think
what
so.
kind of fabric are these affecting us?
Silky, right? Those are the
Nylon.
silky.
Just your regular
Nylon
cotton.
ones?
Probably.
Polo
Cotton,
shirt.
no, there's cotton and nylon are not the same thing.
I would think that most of them are cotton, aren't they?
Which
No,
one,
they're
are
not.
we talking about the
They're
ones
not,
that?
they're mostly
T-shirts.
polyester.
Really?
Yeah, because then they're.
I just didn't want to make this a real big,
Right?
complicated
You just
thing.
wanted us to write our size down.
Well-
And is it men's cut, women's cut?
Well, the problem would be that sometimes, depending on the material, you're gonna need a different size.
Mhm.
And we were talking about if it's a silky one, that nylon material,
Well,
those ran small.
who are you planning on going through?
Probably, we'll get them usually at the.
Sports Huddle or
Sports Huddle.
I can go over there
I mean,
and see.
if we have our logo, they could put a
We have our
border logo
logo.
on anything, if we just
Do you
go in there
want
and
to-
pick what we want.
Why don't we approve a number that
Okay,
each person can spend? And you can all do it on your own.
okay.
Pick your color, you pick, the only
Those
thing is, I
last
don't
ones
want
we
you to
got,
put
those
on,
photos, none of them fit.
Greg Bickus's
Too small.
plumbing. You can't have your
No,
logo.
it's just our
on it.
logo.
It's gotta be a township logo.
Right, no, then we can just email them the logo over and then you go pick out what you want.
All right,
You
why
have
don't
it.
I put on, we'll call, find out what the price,
I just want a
a
t-shirt.
medium price, and we'll approve that. I'll put it on Wednesday's meeting.
So you have an average shirt.
What town is that?
Average shirt.
It's right there.
Get up
We
to
don't
that
have to-
much.
Yeah, I don't want to get the cheapest, but we won't
Right,
get the
that's
most
how it's
expensive, we'll just get something
Oh,
good.
okay.
Sounds
Right
And
next
we'll
to the
approve
liquor
for
store.
every
I
employee.
was trying to be nice, I'm gonna say that.
Sound like a deal?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
All right, that's taken care of.
Not everything.
Furniture, proclamation, church. The only other thing I have for tonight, is the proclamation. I had a lady approach me about, this proclamation, for Gun Violence Awareness Day, which is the 4th, and we'll be a little late doing it. The city of Lockport, I think I gave you a copy of the city of Lockport's. I'm not sure what I put in the,
Yes.
Oh, was that the city office?
the short one, yeah, the B.
Okay.
Let me get that back, I take that back. A is the city of Lockport, what they passed. B is the boilerplate one that is put out by the Mothers Against Violence. I was gonna ask what you guys prefer, that I read, or do we want to each read part of it?
Yeah, they both say Lockport Township.
Well, I put the words in, I changed them to fit
Oh, okay.
ours, that's all I did. These are the originals right here, if you want to look at them.
Yeah, it's just that the wording with us declaring a national day,
After
we
our
don't
meeting.
have that
Or before.
authority at the township level. So I think we need to say that we're,
We're not,
yeah,
I don't think we need the Illinois state government to give us permission to make, it's just a proclamation. We're not making any
Yeah.
laws or any,
Right, but I can see it by her saying, just take the word national out of there, it's Gun Violence Awareness Day, because we can't really set the rules for the nation.
But I think that day already is.
It's
that day.
already.
It's already
It's
that
been
day.
proposed.
we're just agreeing to it.
yeah. It's in Congress, but I don't know that it's been passed yet. But I think it gets passed every year, but it might get passed the day before. But I think we would have a proclamation in support of national gun violence and and that we choose to observe it or something like that.
My only,
And support and observance of.
my only reservation about this is, we do this, or we gonna,
Yeah,
anybody who comes up to us to support a cause or a national day for this, or.
I
that.
guess, you know,
That's that would be my only reservation.
I understand where you're coming from, but I do,
It's
It's hard
kinda
to
where
say
you
no when you're
decide
saying
case
about
by case,
shooting
is it
kids.
something you want to take a stand on,
mhm.
one way or another?
Yeah. And that's just part of what government is. They do at the state and federal levels, and we're at the local level, so people are allowed to approach us and ask us to do other things.
so if we do this, the lady's gonna come and talk. It has to be on the agenda. So, then I'll read the proclamation and we can vote on it whether we want it or not, I guess. To approve it, or declare it, or whatever.
So that would all happen at the same meeting. She would speak and ask the board to be in support of it, and then
And then
the
I'll,
board, you would read it, and then the board would
Yeah.
decide if they're in support of it.
I don't even know if it really needs to be
And
voted
that's
on.
4 days before our actual meeting, June 4th is the
Yeah.
actual.
Right.
I don't even know legally if we have to vote on anything, because we're just making a proclamation, we're not changing any, you know.
Well, what do you do
It's
for
not a
other?
resolution, yeah.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of, like,
For a
there's,
resolution.
you've done resolutions for other, like retirements or other, I can't even remember what other what a resolution.
Well, I really
but-
haven't made a lot of resolutions in my tenure here, to be honest with that kind of.
We did the one
And are those-
honorary street name or something.
Are those voted on, those resolutions?
By the board.
It
as-
is,
board,
the
okay.
board
I would
as
put this to a vote, anyway. First things first, would you prefer the short one or the long one? They're both the same pretty much. This one, the longer one pretty much gets into this.
For the Pendleton,
Yeah,
whole thing.
I remember doing everything. Anybody?
Well, since Pendleton was from Chicago and we're in proximity to Chicago, I kind of like having the history of this made clear that it's, has a regional tie.
All right, I will do D then, unless you're totally against it.
That's the only thought.
Tuesday's meeting, next Tuesday's meeting, I'm going to go a little bit out of what we usually do in a meeting. I usually start with the road department, and go through the meetings, do the town last. Because it's our scholarship, kids will be there. I would like to, we're gonna have a little meet and greet. I wanna remind everybody at 6 o'clock to come and meet and greet, and we'll have, coffee or juice or something, water, and some cookies or something like that. Take pictures with our scholarship kids, and then we'll do the meeting. I'd like to do the scholarship presentations first, so they don't have to sit through the whole meeting. And then maybe I'll do this proclamation and vote on that, so the lady doing that can leave, and then we'll go into our meeting and go
Makes
through
sense.
paying the bills and everything. If everybody's okay with that. Just give you a heads up, that's gonna be a little different this time. Then I will do this proclamation, and I'll put it up for approval. We'll just approve it. Unless anybody has an issue, that's pretty much all we'll do then. I don't really have anything else unless you guys want to talk about new things to the building, any ideas for the future, or?
I have one question relating to that proclamation. You're gonna have the proclamation, what will you do to recognize we require, or have any type of, we're gonna wear orange shirts that day, when it comes up next year, June 4th, are you gonna have anything that's gonna be included in there?
Well, I don't think, it really doesn't say,
Yeah,
It
the
just
longer
said-
version, it does say.
it does say that
Just
the children
recognizing.
did that at that school,
Mhm.
or Orange, it doesn't say anything about us buying shirts or.
People across the United States will recognize National Gun Violence Awareness Day and wear orange in tribute. So is that something that you want to include?
Well, I don't know, we're buying.
That might be
shirts
something
every-
to consider,
yeah, maybe
because you're
something,
ordering
yeah.
shirts.
Yeah, well, no, I
Well,
think
no,
people
that's
just wear
just-
their own.
That's just
Yeah, I think
wear
it's just
orange,
something-
that's like
yeah, I don't think the
wear
township's
pink during
obligated
October
to
for
buy
breast
shirts
cancer
for the-
awareness.
Or for one day.
Yeah, just wear orange if you have it. We'll get some orange construction papers. Little signs on it.
I did, just for everybody's,
But
entertainment.
that's a good question, yeah.
I did have a couple of conversations with Joliet's new supervisor, young gentleman, named Angel. He is involved with Joliet Housing Authority. Also, he's the chairman or president of the Housing Authority. And he brought to my attention how we might be able to get some low-income senior housing or veteran housing in this township for relatively reasonable. And the housing authority pays for most of it, and funds it and everything. So it's something I'm going to be maybe looking into. I think that'd be a great idea. Unless you guys are totally against it. But I think,
No,
we're the,
I agree with that.
I think that'd be a, if we can get the land somewhere, then they do all the building and all the running of the whole show.
Well, and I
That'd be
think
great.
it's more what you would call affordable senior housing as
Right.
opposed to low income.
Low income.
Senior housing.
Yeah.
I think the perspective people take from that is something different.
You might be
Affordable
right.
senior housing implies affordable senior housing, low income housing in people's minds implies something different.
Okay. Note taken, but I would like to include veterans in that. That'd be nice.
Right.
For sure.
I'm all over that.
Yeah. But it's something else. I mean, anybody else got any ideas for you've got 4 years to do programming in this township. And, as long as there's township government, I always say we should make ours the best.
I am going to be talking with United Way, and they want to work with me to develop a dental health outreach in the fall.
Okay.
They're thinking about it. I told them I'm interested in how we can expand what they currently have going on.
Okay.
So,
That'd be good.
Yeah, and we talked about, over the last couple of years, the land around here on how we address the flooding issue there. And
Right.
we had a gentleman from the Conservation Foundation come out and talk to us about how we might be able to do that and maybe get corporate sponsors or something, so it's little to no cost to the township. And then we learned that the cost of getting a CAD drawing was more than we thought initially. Thought it might be 500 or 1,500, and it was like 3,500. So I thought I might check into, JJC has some classes in CAD design for landscaping and so forth, to see if we might work with a class to kind
That would
of
be
get that
neat. Now,
project.
there's something I'd like to work with Yuko or something like that with,
Little cooperative.
cooperatives. If we can come up with something to do out there,
Well, there's,
beautiful land out there.
we have commented a couple times about community gardens, but I noticed St. Ray's in Joliet on Rainier has, they have garden, and I don't know how they do it or who maintains it, but they've raised bed vegetable gardens. They call it the promised land, and the food is then for, people in need. It might be something that could be approached with the food pantry. They're right here anyway, if
Right.
there's a way to develop that for
I've
produce.
had a lot of conversations of that, and it always falls through.
I mean, a lot of community gardens are,
It would
You
take
know,
somebody
you
from the
give
township to coordinate.
yeah.
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 it always
Some
takes someone.
What I
community
really would
gardens are you
like to
just
get
get your
going-
little space, but that might be something the food pantry would be interested in, working
I've
on.
talked with the food pantry about this too. They're all for taking the food, but they don't want to get involved with organizing it.
It's a
and
lot.
all of that, and I'm like,
It is a lot of
we
work.
need somebody to organize. And
You can
Kind of
research
run.
it first, yeah, for sure.
we've had a couple of people volunteer to do that, and then when the time comes, they can't do it. Two people fell through.
Yeah, and that's something you might be able to work with the high school with, but yeah, it would take somebody here to be the point person and
What I'd really like to get done
Follow
here
it
is create a 501c for volunteers, and they can get a lot of grants and stuff that we can't, to do
Like a
things like that.
foundation.
Foundation, yeah. A senior, I started to try to get that senior advisory board, kind of a, get volunteers to work with us and just, but hard to get them to, get it to crack,
Yeah.
to move forward. We had a couple of meetings and everybody kind of lost interest because we don't have a real good direction. I was asking them, where do you want this thing to go? People want to play bingo, people didn't want to, people, just got out of hand, so. But if anybody wants to maybe try to put some kind of a volunteer committee together for this building in this property and, in the future, it happens. I always think of that children's garden in Elwood. I don't know if you've ever been down there. It's the most remarkable place I've ever seen, and that looks so cool back there. But it takes a lot of volunteers and a lot of grants and a lot of work together. But future things, future ideas. All I'm looking for is ideas, and we'll throw them on the table. If we throw enough crap on the wall, something's gonna stick.
Do we get any hits on the maintenance that's been posted?
I have, keep on hearing maybe somebody's gonna come in. That one you told me somebody was coming in last week and he never came.
No.
I'm
So,
still reaching out.
thinking coming up with a job description and then deciding what exactly you want and kind of taking a look at what's really needed and what's not.
Yeah, we need to get, the thing is, we need a maintenance man that does the maintenance here. And that's gonna be a little bit more expensive than just sweep. I don't know how.
So, yeah, defining,
More like a building super as opposed to just custodian.
you have to define what you need done in the building, what you need done outside the building,
Right.
what exactly, and, what we have already in place.
Well, it's hard to,
I can help you.
I can use all the help
My
I can
husband,
get.
because my husband's a licensed stationary engineer, he's
Right.
a
Well, we could
carpenter,
why don't
bed
we put-
maintenance,
why don't
bed
you and I
custodian.
put together,
Job description that
description,
you might want to go over.
and then we
Right.
can bring it to the board, and if they're okay with it, and give me a price we can spend, I'll hire them, good.
And it's considered too, you want on-call, you want part-time, you want them to do the grass, you want them to do the snow. Highway department cannot do our snow in this lot, their roads are the priority from what I
Right.
understand.
That's what they
Can the
do.
highway department do our grass?
They haven't offered,
Can they?
I don't know.
Can we ask them?
We can, we can ask them to do anything.
What's that?
Are they shorthanded?
Are they shorthanded? I
They are
mean,
kind of short-handed.
okay, but grass can wait 3 days, especially this grass, correct? I mean, snow
The
can't.
thing is,
so
if
you
we
have to
buy our
figure out,
lawnmower that we should buy, we could cut our own grass.
do we have to? If we can't get the highway department to come over and cut, okay, then we include that in your maintenance description. So then the maintenance person does have to plow as well. And you have a V-box for your salter, and so usually they go load somewhere. Would they go to the highway department to get the salt, or would they go
We
to
have
another source to get the salt?
We usually put a pellet of salt in the back of the truck, is what we do.
Okay, so it's figuring out a lot of things, I think it'd be good if we sat down. and
We've been doing it for 4 years. but-
Because, I mean, I've had a couple of people ask me, my son was like, I love to cut the grass here, I mean, just
Yeah.
the idea of, when you look at what do you
But I
need.
can't get him to buy anything more than a push mower.
He goes, well, I wouldn't have to do a push mower, would I?
Well, that's the thing, if you hire somebody that would love to cut grass here, I've just seen from being on a couple different boards, churches and things like that, you get a guy out there running that machine, hey, this machine's a piece of crap, it's breaking down, it's basically because it's not being taken care of properly.
Well, and that's
So you
why you need
got-
maintenance, yes.
Right,
You need a maintenance professional that can not only cut the with the machine, but knows how to use the machine,
right.
fix the machine.
Properly.
And if
maintain
you're not
it.
gonna contract out your
But you're not gonna
plowing,
get one for $10 an hour.
no, you're talking, comparable to your highway department and what
Right.
they're making, and that's not unacceptable. You're expecting them, but is it an on-call position? Is it a part-time position? Because what do you need for maintenance in your building? Do you have
Obviously-
boilers? Do you have your contract, you know,
We
for
don't-
Joanne's and
yes.
Anderson? You may not need all of what you think in the building, so it's lining up, what do I really need here, and finding out.
Well, as you know, obviously it's on call through the winter because we plow.
Correct.
It's not on call, basically, right now, things because of the pandemic, we've been pretty slow in the evenings in the building with, the Limestone Theater Group's here all the time, Allegro's here all the time in the evening. They have fobs, they let themselves in, they lock themselves out, they know how to do it. Now, if the Cub Scouts want to rent this room for a meeting, I can't give them a fob and expect them to know how to lock up. So then I need a maintenance man to come in, kind of like a
Maintenance person.
Maintenance person. Maintenance person. Yeah.
Right, so starting with the definition will work well, and saving you a lot of money in the long run, someone who does know how to operate and maintain equipment,
Right.
no matter what, because that's part of it.
Well, let's put a,
We will, yeah,
Yeah,
for
we'll do
sure.
that.
Yeah, because you may only need a part-time person.
It's
and
only
then-
part-time.
And then part-time staff,
yeah.
Janitorial staff. And we've got just one person now,
We
right?
got one person right
Yeah,
now
one
that's
person.
doing all the janitorial stuff, and she does some of the maintenance, but she's not real educated in that.
Well, there's two different jobs.
Yeah.
So creating the job description is gonna be the fairest thing to do for sure.
But we need to get something going here. Right now, we got one lady that's, trying to keep up with it.
We have to repurpose some of our existing staff.
And I'm doing the work. Plowing.
You're doing a great job, Will.
Somewhere
Let's
down in my
can we
job
get that on a
description
separate
either.
clip and just keep repaying you?
All right, anybody got anything else? Or we go home and eat? Hey, thanks for coming out.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Welcome to the new board and everything, and hopefully
Thank
we're
you.
gonna have a lot of.
Thank you.
Be back at it next week.
I just want to double check with the proclamation so it's not awkward at the meeting. So really, you can just authorize the proclamation, or is that going to go to a board vote?
I'm gonna read the proclamation and I'm gonna put on there approval, so we'll vote on it. I'll ask somebody to approve the proclamation, and we'll vote on it. and-
A motion for it?
Yeah, motion to approve the
So
proclamation.
Bryce,
Second?
do you have a strong feeling against that?
I don't have a strong feeling against it, I just don't know. I'm in support of, being against gun violence, but I just don't know how, I don't know what it's gonna do as far as us doing, if it's gonna make any impact.
I don't really think it is, I'm just helping
You know what,
us
I-
support their
Nobody
local.
cares about opening their.
There's
mailing.
other things that need to be
That's
taken
what-
care of other than that, I guess.
And the day will be over by the time we approve it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be passed, yeah. But then it's also gun violence awareness month in June.
Yeah.
So it's just one, one of our county blasts.
So basically, you guys filled this out, but I'm not going to
You're gonna disregard all that
pretty much say, I'm going to put it on the agenda, mark that down, that
we can go
I'm
to
just
court,
going
settle,
to
pick our own.
Amen.
appropriate so much money per person, go there and you'll have to go there and order it yourself and pick out what
Perfect.
But so they can try it on it.
I don't want to.
Yeah, with all the different sizes.
I need a motion to adjourn.
Now, I have just one
You
other.
got it.
Oh, we did already,
Oh,
sorry.
did we?
Yeah, we did already.
We finished.
I missed it.
Ryan, just one other thing, it doesn't matter if it's part of the meeting. I'm just wondering for our maintenance person, if we should like check in with the highway department and maybe
No,
the
not any
other
longer. Not
cities
until,
and villages, if they've got someone full-time and part-time that might, just doing something similar
Oh,
there
do a
that
job
might be able
share
to help
kind of
us
a-
here, yeah.
Yeah, I've been reaching out as much as I can with the people that I know and,